Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Wings Podcast. This is your host, Milind Agnihotri. In today's episode, we will meet Devangini. She is a writer, fashion blogger, and a content strategist who has accomplished her post-graduation in mass communications. She believes every moment is a story to tell if you have the art of expression and the drive within you. Hi, Devangini. Welcome to the Wings Podcast.
Hi, Milind. How are you?
All well. How are you?
Good. Thank you.
And let me begin by first asking you, Devangini, how does it feel to come on the show?
It is a great feeling because I think it's a very important thing today that, we get messages across to people who are listening. And it is one of the most powerful mediums, I think, the most underestimated mediums today, where you can actually have a voice. So I think it's a nice feeling.
So, interestingly, in your introduction, I said that you believe, and that's a line I've taken from you actually, is you believe that every moment is a story to tell. Can you say a bit more about that?
Yeah.
Where do you find this story, and why the story of the moment? How and why does it matter to you?
Right. So I have always, in all my introductions, included this because I truly believe in that. Not just as a writer, but I think we are all in our life, we are living our story, and we are always a part of someone's story as well.
Mm-hmm.
So all of us, how I believe of it is that we are one universe and we are connected. And it's not about form, it's more about the energy.
Mm-hmm.
The energy that we send out. So there are people with positive energy and there are people with negative energy. But
Mm-hmm.
it is some kind of energy. When you are a person who's alive, it is some kind of energy. It could be negative or positive, but there cannot be no energy because
Mm-hmm.
you are alive and you're pulsating, with energy. So we influence each other in more ways than one, I feel. And even if it is for a moment, it is something that you should celebrate. If you ask a writer from a writer's perspective,
Mm-hmm.
long ago I had thought of writing short stories. I'd even wrote them, but I never published them.
Mm-hmm.
But even if I haven't, I still continue to write those stories apart from all the things that I do. And I feel that if you experience something and it is unique, you can always, if you have it in you, if you have the drive in you, if you have expression and a voice that you want to you want to be heard by other people, and that voice must come out in the form of a story. So we all are storytellers. None of us experience none of us can ever say that I have never had a story to tell in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Many of us don't, but that doesn't mean we don't have it. So we live for memories. So if we just come down to our raw existence, that's what we live for.
Mm-hmm.
We work so that we earn money and can make memories. We
Mm-hmm.
have food so that we can make memories out of it. Even if it's just me alone watching Netflix with my favorite burger, it's still a story that I can tell tomorrow to a colleague. So I feel that every living moment is a story which has energy in it. And if you make it unique, you can really capture people's attention through that story.
Very
Is what I
interesting. Very interesting. So
Yeah.
tell us, Devangini, about some of the standout moments that you
Right.
recollect from your own memories, the stories that you have made for yourself.
I think there are many such stories, many
Mm-hmm.
of them. But one I would like to mention is when I was in school,
Mm-hmm.
we had a teacher. We all have that, and I was in a lovely school, but it's just an experience. So we all had to draw a flower, and second standard or third standard, I think. And the teacher drew a typical flower on the board, and she said you have to color it with your favorite color.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, okay. And I said, so when she saw my drawing, she was not happy. She said, what is this? You can't have a flower which has all different colored petals,
Mm-hmm.
because such a flower doesn't exist. And how can you have a flower which has different colored petals? Have you ever seen it? This is very stupid. You haven't seen this in your life. Why have you colored it like this? Is this a
Mm-hmm.
joke?
Mhm.
I said no, because for me, I like the rainbow and I see it as one color. I see different colors as one color. I mean, not one color technically speaking. I didn't say this to her at that time because I wasn't obviously that articulate at that time.
Of
But
course.
I just said that this is how I like it. This is how I think my flower would be, is what I told her when I was, And then when she met my father for the parent teachers meeting, she
Yes.
said that it was wonderful for me to come across a child who looked at a flower in a certain way. And I did not have any idea of glorifying anything at that point in time, because I was just, in second standard or first standard when elementary had just started.
Yes.
So this was my own imagination. So she said that I want you to keep her imagination alive. Whatever it takes, don't let it die. Whatever, she has a great visualization skill, and so don't let it die. So this is one story. So now it could not be a story, but the way I told
Yeah.
it to you
Yeah.
made it a story. So that's what I
Surely.
meant when I said moment.
Yeah, but in many ways, the story is linked to a memory that is so deeply etched, I guess, in your life. So,
Yes, yes.
so uh, just as the flower with each petal having a different color, I'm sure it would have stood out very differently. Uh, has this
Right.
standing out theme? Does that show up in the various stories or memories that you have? I'm just a little curious to know that if standing out or being different, let's
Mhm.
say walking the uncommon path, we can go on, exploring this. But is that a theme of your story that has unfolded up until now? Just a little curious there.
Uh, yeah. I think, see, it's like I look at it as, we are all very different, and this is science. This is not something that, it's in my head, or I have, it's not a philosophical thing.
Hmm.
And philosophy is beautiful in every way, but I'm just saying that this is a science that we all are very different when we are born,
Hmm.
and we become so much of a prey to culture and society and all the things that they condition us with uh, from the time we are born, that we forget the raw originality that we have inside of us.
Hmm.
And I think it is a constant struggle to keep that alive. And I think we all should participate in that struggle to keep that alive, because, yeah, man has always wanted to be sane,
Hmm.
and sanity has always been something that he has wanted to achieve. Because when you have someone who rules you, or when you have a certain sector of people who want to have power over you, the best way to have power over you is taming you. That's how they do it. Because look at anything, look at the rule we have had, look at we've been ruled for so many years, and we have been tamed in certain ways to look at skin color in a certain way. It's a very cultural, not even a cultural, but it's a very historical thing. If you look at the facts,
Um,
it's not just about ye dekh ke acha laga. It is so subconscious.
yeah, tell us more, Devangini, about this whole idea of standing out that you hold in your mind.
Yeah, I have always believed, and it's a very scientifically proven thing, that we are conditioned since we are born. That's where we lose our originality, because as a part of a culture and as a part of the human race, we are constantly told that this is right, this is not right, this is wrong, this is not what you should do. You should sit a certain way. You should not laugh loudly. I'm just saying, for example.
Sure.
So these are the small things, and this is how we are conditioned to uh, become accepted. So it is all because you want to be accepted as a part of everyone else, and that's where you kill the standing out aspect.
Hmm.
And where it is important is since childhood, if a parent tries to not kill that differentness in a child, that's where leaders are born, and that's where people who stand out are born. And they don't have to decide that I have to be a leader or I have to stand out. it's an intrinsic thing, because they have not allowed too much of conditioning to ruin their originality. And to an extent, it is something that we cannot avoid, but we can certainly do things that keep that originality alive. Certain subconscious things like that are ingrained on us, like skin color, for example. We have had another rule over us, and for so many years fair skin is something that attracts us. And it's something that is a very subconscious thing, but yeah, it does make a difference. It does affect you in every possible way. You look at ads which are talking about getting light skinned people are always saying that I want a light skinned girlfriend, or I want to be light skinned, I don't like my skin color, and things like that. I mean, this is just one example, but there are so many things like that this is all the conditioning that avoids you or restricts you from standing out. And breaking that stereotype then becomes very difficult, because you're so conditioned that you feel that you're doing something wrong if you're standing.
Interesting to say this, because Devangini, I know on Instagram you are really doing some standout work, if I can use that phrase in that context, and also trying to break some amazing stereotypes there. So I know today itself you released a very interesting campaign. So why don't you talk us through about the work that you're doing on Instagram and the handle that you have, and what is your inspiration for doing the kind of work that you're doing there?
So my idea of having a blog and having a fashion blog on Instagram as Eva's Take was primarily to just have a creative expression. And when I started writing about fashion in general, I got a very good response from people who were looking for, a content which always, made their life simple, or brought a smile on their face, or made them feel that, even I can do this, or even I can have a voice, even I can have a blog. Even I have it in me to constantly strive to be creative and not give up on myself. So every time I feel like I want to give up, I remind myself on why I started this. I go back to my old posts, and that's how I keep myself motivated. And we all are humans, so at some point we all get tired, but we have to keep that fire alive. And Instagram and my blog is one way that helps me keep my creative fire alive. So it's very important for me. I do reels. I do a lot of reels, working with I was a part of the Born on Instagram program as well, worked with the Instagram team. And it was a wonderful experience. And because reels are a very creative way of
you launched one, I think today, a campaign called the Desi Girl. So how was it received? Tell us more about that. That sounded very interesting.
So it was just a impromptu reel that I did. Can't even say that it was a campaign or sorts. But I just saw this concept. I saw this audio, heard this audio, someone knocking, and then the same girl, same voice becomes, so it's a transition reel. That's what they call it.
Correct.
Like a transition. So I am also the geek, and I am also the Desi girl. So, it is not that you have to restrict yourself to become one kind of woman or one kind of person, and people will always have their say, because I think on social media people believe that because I don't have to stand in front of you and talk to you, I can say anything I want, and they don't take onus. See, when you take accountability for what you say and what you do, you are more wise with your words, because then you know that you are going to get the backlash, or you are going to face consequences if you say something to someone in person.
That's right.
But on social media, somehow people feel that because they are not showing their face, or they are not themselves, sometimes they're not even themselves, sometimes they're not even real, they have a fake account or whatever. So there is a lot of negativity that I see.
Yeah, I'm sure on Instagram, the kind of work that you're doing, you must be having many followers and many comments that come your way. So just quickly, this campaign that you did today, the Desi Girl, impromptu reel, what was the response you got?
So in 1 hour, it all got almost 33,000 views, and still getting more, and a lot of likes, etc., and some comments also. And what I believe is, I never reply to negative comments.
Mhm.
Many people feel that why don't you give it back? Why don't you reply to negative comments? Why don't you fight with them?
Mhm.
Because there are so many people who will come on DMs also and say, crash things to you and just
Correct.
want to pull you down. And whatever, God bless them, whatever their struggles are, I'm sure they should, I hope they come out of and get well soon from
Mhm.
their struggles
Mhm.
and find a way to be more positive in life. And I always bless them, and I never interact with them. I never interact with any negative, anybody. There are very, very few exceptions when I've replied when maybe the remark was, not concerning me, but hurting someone I know, or, making a very generalized comment related to our culture or religion or something like that. But otherwise,
Mhm.
I always believe that I don't reply to them, because I feel like, it's like a similar thing when you see, when this movie Conjuring,
Mhm.
when the guy who is trying to get the demon out of his sister,
Mhm.
he starts talking to the spirit, to the demon, and says, why are you doing this to us? What have
Mhm.
we done to you? So he replies that the Ed Lauren and the husband wife, they are like, never talk to the demon. They
Mhm.
tell him never talk to him, because you are giving him unnecessary importance. Because what you are doing is you are establishing a connection with him,
Mhm.
and when you give him that importance, you establish that connection with him. It gives him power over you, because he can affect your emotions. That is
Correct.
the
But
power you're giving.
this social media in
So
many
these
ways,
people are like that.
yeah, I know social media, is many way a gift and a curse both. Is how you kind of take
Right.
to it. And
Mhm.
so how important do you think for a person like you who is so active on social media on the Instagram platform, uh, to to maintain your own safety, your own protection, or rather, shall I say, manage the boundaries? How important is that, and how do you do that?
Right. So I have always believed that I don't share my personal life, uh, in the sense that I have a boundary to which I will share my personal life on social media always.
Sure.
Uh, and it depends on the kind of work I'm doing, on the kind of campaign. I have said no to products and brands, big brands, because I have not liked the philosophy, either that, or I have not liked the products itself, or the brand offering itself,
Mhm.
or it is something to do with my ethics, and I have not. So I have said no. So that is also a boundary that I draw, because it's in a way a safety for me, because people, if they start seeing that I'm just doing it for the sake of it, or promoting something just for the sake of it, they are going to start unfollowing me.
Mhm.
And that's not a nice thing, because for me, I don't see it as a following. I see it as a community that I have built over 3 years of hard work,
Yes.
and that community is more important to me than any kind of financial or material gain.
Mhm.
So my boundaries are very clear when it comes to brands, and my boundaries are very clear when it comes to my privacy. I do not put up very personal stories, or pictures or posts on my feed, because someone who likes to do it, I'm very happy if they like to do it, and I am having no prejudice against anyone, but this is my what I like on my page. So I don't mean any offense to anyone who likes doing that. Great, if you are okay with it. But I have a boundary about, I don't answer personal questions like, what does your husband do?
Mhm.
Why don't you put selfies with him?
Mhm.
Etc. Etc. That's I tell them that, look, I'm not here for that. I'm here for fashion. If I feel like doing it, I might for a day or two or sometimes, but I'm not someone who enjoys that. I stick to my purpose, which is blogging for fashion, wellness, and beauty. So that's my purpose, and I stick to that.
So
That's
what
how
does
I feel.
brand Devangini stand for? What does it
I feel that
represent?
it is right, right. So it represents an individual who is keen and curious about new things and new trends and new experiences in general. So it could be travel, it could be food, it could be like you said, like a reel that I did today, like a remix reel, or it could be a transition, or it could
Mhm.
be a cool makeup look, or it could be a gothic look, or one day I could just come and say that, today I'm going to share a hack with you, or whatever, or a fitness thing. I don't restrict myself to a certain trend or to thinking that people may not like it. The problem is, people today create, like most people, they first think of how it won't work out, is what I've seen in general. So if
Mhm.
you first think of how it won't work out and why it won't work out, it won't.
Mhm.
It's not going to. It's like
Okay.
it's not going to, because you have manifested it not working out by pointing out things that, you know, ye to ye work out nahi hoga.
Can I ask you a question, Devangini?
So right.
Uh,
Yeah, go ahead.
uh, do you see yourself as a hustler then?
Most definitely, in fact, I say that, anybody who wants to stand out and not follow the stereotypes is a hustler, because you are not a coin from a coin factory, and we're not all the same. uh, so we shouldn't all be treating ourselves the same. We are all different and everyone is creative. I don't think that there is anybody on this planet who doesn't have creativity inside them. It is a
Mhm.
very, very understated kind of fact, and nobody talks about it. I am creative, I am different. No, we all are. It's
Mhm.
just that some people hone it into a skill, hone it into an expression, into a voice, and some people don't. So my always request to all fellow hustlers is, if you want to break a stereotype, speak up about it. Don't think of 10 reasons why it won't work out. Think of 20 reasons why it will in the
Mhm.
first place. Don't
Awesome.
think about how I'll make money from being different in the first place. Yeah, of course, money is important and it is a goal. Of course, it is a goal. But in the beginning, you need not think about how I should create content to gain something from it. कि कुछ free मिल जाए, या I should, how will I get money from this? In the beginning, it just has to be what you believe, is you yourself, and how you portray yourself, your creative expression. That's what you should bring ahead. There is definitely 10 other people who are going to resonate with that voice, and that's how you're going to start attracting a community and build a community, and that will last longer than any brand collaboration. I'm very sure of this.
Excellent. Excellent.
So
Devangini, I mean, I wish we can have this conversation going on and on, but in the interest of time, I may have to, bring this
of
conversation
course, yeah.
to a closure. But what a wonderful conversation this has been about a girl who, in class 3, thought of painting every petal of a flower with a different color, because that's how she imagined a rainbow, and the notion of the rainbow, and standing out in many ways in every part of your life. So do what you are doing, the amazing work that you are doing on Instagram, especially in fashion blogging. I mean, I can see,
Right.
deeply anchored in some very strong values and ethics. That's what brand Devangini represents, you said. But yet giving yourself the
Absolutely.
courage and the freedom to find various vistas of expression. So, wish you good luck. And on behalf of our listeners today, I just want to thank you, and take good care of yourself, and wish you good luck and all success in life.
Thank you so much. It was wonderful having this conversation. I'm sure we can, of course, continue it sometime on a call, and always talk about. I love talking about such things,
Yes.
and it was wonderful. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you so much for listening to me and sparing your valuable time listening to what I had to say. Thank you so much.
Welcome. Good luck and take care. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you for your time today, my dear listeners. This is your host, Milind Agnihotri, signing off. Goodbye, take care, and stay safe. This podcast is for general information purposes only and should not be considered as a piece of any professional advice. Views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of its guest. Creators of this podcast expressly disclaim any and all liability or responsibility for any direct or indirect, consequential, or other damages arising out of any individual's use of this podcast. For feedback and suggestions, please write to wingsindia75 at gmail.com. Thank you.